G'day, it's Pete here. Today I'm going to do my lesson on coping with interference. I'm going to cover several different areas of where you have interference, and I'll cover some of the conventions that you can use. So I'll go over one level overcalls when the opponents make it, what your bids mean, what happens when they make other overcalls as well, and some other conventions that you can use to get some more description in there. I'll talk about doubles and do they count as interference, and what do you do when they double some certain spots. A bit on when the opponents make conventional bids like unusual two-no trumps or Michaels. Also what you can do over preempts such as weak twos. Also sort of when the opponent's bidding something and your partner makes a takeout double, what some of your options are. And also when they overcall one no trump. So I'll talk about some of the different conventions you can play and what some of your bids generally mean, and some good stuff that you can do. So I hope you enjoy this lesson on coping with interference. Alright, so we'll get into it. So we'll start with coping with interference, and we're going to talk about one level overcalls to start with. Okay, so here we're going to discuss what happens when they overcall. So here, partner opens one club, and the next hand overcalls one heart, and we have a 4-card spade suit. So what do we want to do to show this? So playing negative doubles, a double of one spade here just promises exactly 4 spades. Now, what this frees up is bidding 1 spade can now show 5. Now you might wonder, like, why do we have this differentiation when we didn't have that before? Do we actually need it? It's kind of useful because when the opponents overcall, now the next hand, the west hand in this instant, might start preemptively jumping in hearts or something. So it's nice sometimes to use their intervention to be able to get more definition into our bids quicker. So the definition that we use is when partner opens one of a minor, the next hand overcalls a major. What we use is double shows exactly 4 cards in spades, and bidding 1 spade shows 5. Now if it goes one of a minor and they overcall 1 spade, double just shows 4 plus hearts, because there might be some weak hands with hearts that aren't strong enough to bid 2 hearts. But if you do happen to bid 2 hearts, that shows a 5-card suit and 10 plus points. But in this situation that we're talking about, one of a minor, 1 heart overcall, we use double to say we've got exactly 4, and bidding 1 spade to show 5. Whoops. So yeah, you don't bid 1 spade on that because that would show 5. Instead we double to show exactly 4 spades. Okay. So here we'd shown our 4-card spade suit, and we've got 9 points. They might not make one no trump, but who knows. So here they lead, and I'll just claim the contract, and now I'll just bring up the... Okay, so here's the whole hand. Partner open 1 club, the next hand overcalled 1 heart, and we just use double to say yes, we have exactly 4 spades. So when they overcall 1 heart, we can use that. On the other hand, when we happen to have all 5 spades, such as in this example, we get to bid 1 spade, and this might allow partner to compete in spades easier. So if the auction gets competitive, we know whether to bid to 3 spades or not based on the number of trumps we have. Or if they jump in with 4 hearts or something, we have to now decide, do we want to bid 4 spades or not? We've described more of our hand. So sometimes when the opponents intervene, it gives you room to describe other bids, and some of the conventions or bids we have used to describe our hand quicker in case the auction gets competitive. Other conventions we'll use to try and get back some space that we otherwise would have had if they didn't get in our way. Okay, so here with 5 spades, where we can happily bid 1 spade instead of a double. So this is a negative double situation that happens when our partner opens 1 of a minor, the next hand overcalls 1 of a major. Now if they bid a heart, we use double to show exactly 4 spades and 1 spade to show 5 or more spades. If they overcall a spade, we just use double to show 4 plus hearts. But yeah. Okay. Another common occurrence is if partner opens 1 club and the next hand overcalls 1 diamond. So if the east hand had passed, we were just intending to bid 1 heart here and to show 4 plus hearts and 6 plus points. But when the east hand gets in there and bids 1 diamond, we've got a new bid available. Well, we've got pass and double. Now, you might pass on some hands that would have otherwise responded, but you no longer have to. Because when they intervene, your partner gets another shot anyway, so you don't have to respond on all 6 counts. There are some hands that you'll pass. The other bid we get is a double. So when it goes 1 club, 1 diamond overcall, we now have a double available. And what the double is used for is to say, partner, I have both majors. At least 4-4. Now, most people play you can have longer than that. I like it to be quite strict on exactly 4-4. Now, it depends on partnership agreement and style, what it should be, but here, if you have it as exactly 4-4, you never lose your 5-card major. Sometimes if you bid it on other shapes, you might not be able to describe your shape properly in the end. So I like it to be exactly 4-4 and get your hand description out really quickly. So on this hand, instead of just bidding 1 heart, we can actually double. If we happen to bid 1 of a major over here, it still only promises a 4-card suit, not a 5-card suit or anything like that. But double here, I have exactly 4-4 in the majors, and then partner can compete in spades. So there's some of the things we can do to for 1 level overcalls, what we can do and what our different bids mean. Just nice and simple. Okay. All right. Now we'll get on to some other types of bids. So let's say partner opens 1 spade and the next hand gets in the way with 2 diamonds. And we've got 12 high card points and a doubleton, so we can show this as 13 points if we like. Now some people have different conventions to show raises, especially in the majors. Some people, if the east hand had passed, some people might play Bergen raises or no trump raises or something like that. So some people might have 1 spade pass 3 no trumps to show 13 to 15 with a spade raise. Other people might have 1 spade pass 2 no trumps to show something or anything like that. But as soon as the opponents intervene with a suit, all that regular system is off. So our usual standard system is off as soon as they get in there with an overcall of a suit. So we don't have no trump raises or Bergen raises or whatever you decided to play. Or even if you just played limit raises, so this hand might go 1 spade past 4 spades or whatever you decided to do. So here we'll talk about what we can do when they overcall and how our system's off. We don't have our no trump raises or our Bergen raises or whatever you'd use if you do use a convention. But what we like to do here, so it's gone 1 spade, 2 diamond overcall. Now, a good convention that lots of players use is what's called a Q raise. Now, Q raise is where we bid the opponent's suit. So if we ever bid the opponent's suit, it's nearly never natural because we don't want to play in a suit if the opponents wanted to try and play in it. There are rare exceptions, but for the most part, once they bid the suit, we don't want to play in it. Instead, we use it as an artificial bid to describe something. Now, what we like to do is after our partner's opened or overcalled, we bid the opponent's suit to say, yes, I have an invitational or better raise with a fit for you. So here, 1 spade, 2 diamond overcall. If I bid 3 diamonds, that says I have 10 plus points with a fit and fit and spades. Okay, so a 1 spade, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, yes, I have a fit for you, and I'm invitational or better. You could have 20 points. You may just have only 10. Now what this does is it frees up your 3 spade bid and your 4 spade bid to mean other things. So here I'm going to go bid 3 diamonds, and our partner is not interested and they can bid 3 spades. And I had a bit extra than my just minimum 10 to 12 because I evaluated this as 13. So I'll get to in and bid 4 spades. Happy to push on to game. Okay. Okay, so here's the whole hand. So what that's called is a Q raise, and it applies anytime our partner's opened a suit or if our partner's overcalled a suit. So all we do is bid the opponent's suit to say, yes, I have a fit for you, and 10 plus points. And it frees up a lot of bids for us. And it also, the alternative to doing this, if we just had 10 to 12 points, is we would usually have to bid 3 spades. Now when we bid something like 3 diamonds, we've actually done this at a lower level than the alternative of 3 spades. So there's that space of bidding 3 hearts or something like that. It might vary depending on what the opponent's bid. Now if partner does anything other than go back to 3 of our major, it's an interesting game and just a game try. So if they bid 3 hearts instead of 3 spades over our Q raise, would say, partner, I've got some interest in going to game, but I don't want to commit. So by using these Q raises, we're able to get more invitational bids and other things, and we get to do it at a lower level. It might also allow us to get some Q bidding in. So like if you play Q bidding or control bidding, I might have been able to make a slam try after partner bids 3 spades and stuff like that. So it's a good way of conserving space, and it frees up some other options. Okay, so we'll look and see what these other options are. So here instead, if it goes 1 spade and now they bid 2 diamonds, here we've got just 8 points. We've got 2 doubletons. You might decide to stick this into the 10 plus range. But if you were wanting to describe this hand as 6 to 9, then originally your only bid would be to bid 2 spades. But if you now realize that any hand that has 10 or more points with a fit goes through the 3 diamond Q raise, this opens up 3 spades and 4 spades to mean something else. So what I like 3 spades to be is sort of 6 to 9 with a 4 card support, and 4 spades to be sort of similar but with 5 card support. You'll always have a little bit of distribution or something. So here we get more different types of raises by being able to have our Q raise. It's now freed up some other things. So this is just a jump raise, just more of a distributional raise to 3 spades rather than just on points. And this might help partner evaluate their hand better and bid some pushy games when if you just had to bid 2 spades, you wouldn't be able to describe all your different options. So that's what you can do with a Q raise or jump raise after they overcall, and the different structures you can do. And I really recommend adding Q raises into your repertoire. Okay, so here, let's say partner opens 1 no trump and the next hand doubles. Okay, so it's important to discuss with your partner what counts as interference. Now, does a double count as interference? Now, if they a general rule is once the opponents interfere, our regular system is off. But does double count as interference? Now, there's a couple of ways to play this, and they're all quite reasonable. You can, and it's not only after a no trump double, there are some certain other situations. My general rule that I go by, and it just suits me, it's not the definite answer that you have to do this, but I play doubles don't count as interference. I keep all my system on after they double, and I don't count it as interference. So just system on as usual. So here with this hand, I would actually still transfer. Now some people might play system off, and if you do that, you might have to bid 2 hearts. But it's important to know or have discussed with your partner, do you play system on after doubles? Now if they intervene with something like 2 clubs, I would play system off. Now some people say that you've got all the same space, you can just have the double as your stamen. But just as a general rule, I say if they intervene with a suit, system's off. If they double, system's on. It doesn't matter if it's 1 no trump or 1 of a major or anything like that. System on if they double, system off if they bid something. Other things you want to discuss is what does pass or redouble mean. So you might have pass saying like, you know, I'm happy if you bid something. You might use redouble to run, or you might say pass getting partner to redouble. There's lots of different options of how you, if you want to escape from a no trump or things like that, you can discuss with your partner. Now, what I do with Justin is that I play pass tells partner to redouble if they don't have a good suit, and redouble straight away just says, yep, I think they stuffed up, let's try and penalize them. So pass, redouble, and then I might be able to run to 2 of a minor or something like that. Now this isn't ideal, it's okay, it works for us, and it's just simple rules like that that we use. But it's very important to know when is your conventional system on, when is it off. And I've just got a flat rule, after doubles it's still on, after any suit bid it's off. We play different sorts of system after that. So on this hand, I would just still transfer to 2 hearts. Okay, so that's how I'd have the auction go. Okay, I'll now talk a little bit about unusual 2 no trumps. So when the opponents bid unusual 2 no trumps, this is when they jump to 2 no trumps. Most people play this as showing the 2 lowest unbid suits. So in this case, they've got both minors at least 5-5. Now, whenever the opponents imply a suit like this, you can do similar stuff like Q raises and whatnot by bidding their suit. They don't have to have actually bid it. If they've just said they have it, you can still use the same methods. But here, they've told us they've got 2 5-card suits. So there's now 2 suits that we really don't want to play in. Okay, so what are we going to use the 3 club bid and the 3 diamond bid for? So we've got 2 bids, and what we want to do is assign meanings to these bids, because the opponents have used a convention, which is quite useful for them, and they get a lot of description out of it. But they've now given us space to utilize for a different meaning for us. We know we don't want to play 3 clubs or 3 diamonds, so we need a meaning for them. Now, a common convention that people play is what's called unusual versus unusual. And now we've got 2 Q bids, 3 clubs and 3 diamonds. Now what I use is the lower Q bid always says I have the lower suit. So here, when I've got clubs and diamonds, if I Q bid clubs, it mentions something about hearts. If I Q bid diamonds, the higher of their 2 suits, it mentions something about the higher of our 2 possible suits. So here, I would use clubs to mention something about hearts, and diamonds to mention something about spades. Now, what exactly do I want to mention? Okay, in this scenario, what we'd want to be able to do is bid hearts with less than game forcing hands. If you didn't play unusual versus unusual, if you bid 3 hearts, it's natural and forcing, but there's no good way of stopping out a game. But here, I got 12 points, so I'm happy to force the game. So that's not my issue. But what we do is just bidding 3 spades. We play that as just a normal raise to 3 spades. You're less than invitational, but you got some good support for partner. Now, to raise spades, so we're talking about diamonds here because we said diamonds is for spades. 3 diamond bid would be, I have an invitational or better hand for you. So 3 diamond says you've got 10 plus points with a spade fit. Okay, so we can put our game forcing, our invitational and all that sort of stuff in the 3 diamond bid. The 3 club bid, which is about hearts, I use to say I have a game forcing hand with a heart suit. What do you think about that? And then what that leaves is a direct 3 heart bid to say I have an invitational hand with hearts. So they've given this us some space so that we can utilize. So again, what it is they've got 2 suits. In this case, they've got clubs and diamonds. So clubs says, partner, I have a good heart suit, something to do with hearts, and diamond says something about spades. Now, what the meanings are depends on what partner opened. Now, if you make the Q bid associated with partner's suit, so in this case spades, it says you have an invitational or better hand. If you make the Q bid associated with the suit that partner hasn't mentioned, it says you have a game forcing hand with that suit. Okay, so by using this, we can now get weak spades, invitational spades, game forcing spades, invitational hearts, and game forcing hearts, all done at the 3 level, which allows us room to make slam tries and other sorts of invites and things like that. So we get quite a lot of ability to show different hands by using this method. So again, the Q bid in the suit associated with partner suit is invitational or better. The Q bid in the suit that partner hasn't shown is game forcing or better. So here, I'm happy to bid 3 clubs, saying I have a game forcing hand with hearts. Now partner might say 3 hearts, yeah, I got some support. Now this will always be a 5 card suit or more. And here I wasn't really that interested in anything more than game, but since we found a fit, I'm happy to go there. Okay, and so if you look at partner's hand, we found a 9 card heart fit, and we got to set hearts. If it was a bit stronger, we might be able to make a slam try. We weren't in the slam territory, so that's all fine. Now, that's how we show game forcing with hearts. I'll now give you another example. So here is the counter example of why we want to be able to use this. Here, we've only got 9 points this time, but we've got a nice heart suit. And now, if we had to force the game by bidding 3 hearts, you're like, should I do it? Should I not? Oh, you're in a bit of a dilemma. And there'd be no good way to solve it. But this sort of hand, which is invitational, can just bid 3 hearts directly. Say, partner, I don't have a spade fit for you, but I got good heart suit, and I'm invitational. What do you think about that? And then might go all pass, and you can see that you might here, even though partner didn't quite have their opening bid, there's lots of hands where you want to be able to get into 3 hearts like this. So it's a useful convention. It doesn't come up a lot, but when it does come up, you've got a lot of room to describe various hands. Now, other important things is when the opponents use a Michael's Q bid or unusual 2-no trumps, you want to make sure that when you're playing the hand, you make the most use of the fact that they've told you they've got 10 cards and 2 suits as possible. it might help you a lot with the play. So that was unusual versus unusual. It can be used in a couple of other situations where the opponents have shown you two specific suits that you definitely don't want to play in. Okay, so now I'll talk about what you can do to defend against preempts. So if the opponents open a weak 2, there's a really useful, a useful convention called Lebensoll. So what Lebensoll is, it occurs in only a few specific situations. But one of those situations is when it's gone a weak 2 by your opponent, double from your partner, pass. Okay. Now there's a convention that is used by a lot of people called Lebensoll. Now, what Lebensoll is about is trying to get back a level of bidding that we didn't that the opponent's preempt has taken away. So if we imagined that they opened 1 heart, we'd have, and our partner doubled and went pass, we would have, if we wanted to bid spades, we'd have 3 levels of bidding spades, and if we were below 3 no trumps, and if we wanted to bid a minor, we'd have 2 levels of bidding the minors. So for those 3 levels of spades, we can have weak, invitational, and game forcing with spades, maybe trying to find a fit. Might not be what you do, but like we could set it up that way. In the minors, where we've got 2 levels, you could bid at the 2 level or the 3 level. We would have just weak bids or game forcing bids, for instance, is what you could have. Now, sometimes when the opponents get in the way and you lose a level of bidding or whatnot, so we usually want game forcing, invitational, and weak bids. But if you lose a level of bidding, the ones that usually go on is the invitational, and you just have to use some judgment and decide whether you want to go to game or not. But here, let's go on 2 hearts, double, pass. So now, if we want to bid spades below 3 no trumps, we've only got 2 levels, so we've got 2 spades and 3 spades. And if we want to bid a minor, we've only got 1 level. So there's not any good way to differentiate out any hands or anything. But there's a convention called Lebensoll which is used, and it's based on the premise that in competitive auctions, you rarely want to play 2 no trumps. Just playing in 2 no trumps isn't usually a good idea. There is the occasional hand that you do want to do that, but giving up on the option to play in 2 no trumps can be more useful because it can allow you to describe more hands. Now, how Lebensoll works is if you bid 2 no trumps in response to a double here, it says, partner, I want you to bid 3 clubs. It says nothing about the club suit, it just says, I want you to bid 3 clubs. And after that, you might be able to bid your suit. So by doing this, it basically artificially creates a new level of bidding. So let's say we wanted to bid spades, but now instead of the 2 levels of spades we had, we could get back to 3. We could bid 2 spades, or like directly, or we could respond 2 no trumps. Partner then has to bid 3 clubs, and over that we could bid 3 spades. Okay. Or the third option is we just bid 3 spades directly. So the 2 no trump bid forcing partner to bid 3 clubs is an artificial way of creating a level. Now, it doesn't say anything about clubs or anything like that. So what we use this for is generally if we've got 3 levels of bidding, such as we do for spades, we use bidding at the 2 level for weak, going through the Lebensoll 2 no trump bid and then bidding at the 3 level as invitational, and bidding directly at the 3 level as game forcing. So that's when you've got 3 levels. If you've only got 2 levels, such as in the minors, what we use is we can't bid at the 2 level. Now remember I said that if we've only got 2 levels, the one we drop out is the invitational hand. So what we could do is, if we're weak with a minor, is we can bid 2 no trumps and then either pass 3 clubs or correct that to 3 diamonds. And if we're game forcing, we just bid to the 3 level directly. So this has artificially created another level of bidding and allows us more room to describe hands. So on this hand, with 13 points, we're quite happy to describe this hand as game forcing. So we can now just bid 3 diamonds directly. And partner bids 4 diamonds, and we might bid to 5 diamonds. Or something like that. We might slam try on the way, or something like that. And here's the whole hand. So that's just one way of creating some more bidding room after the opponents preempt and take your space away from you. So this can occur whenever the opponents open a weak 2, your partner makes a takeout double, and the next hand passes. Okay. Another common place that some people also play Levensoul is if your partner opens 1 no trump, and the next person overcalls anything. You can also use the Levensoul convention there as well. But it's most important over a weak 2 double pass. Here's just another example of that. 2 hearts, double, pass. Okay, so we're playing the Levensoul convention. So here we want to bid spades. Okay, and luckily for us, we've got 3 levels of spades. Now, do we want to play tell partner we're weak in spades, invitational in spades, or game forcing with spades? If we wanted to show a weak spade, we'd just bid 2 spades directly. If we wanted to show a game forcing hand with spades, we'd jump to 3 spades directly. And if we want to invite, we go through the Levensoul and bid 2 no trumps followed by 3 spades. Here with 10 points, we're happy just to be invitational. So we bid 2 no trumps, alert, and then partner bids 3 clubs, which is also alertable. It's pass, and you can now bid 3 spades. And partner might decide to bid 4 spades over that. So that's one way of getting some room back after the opponent's preempt. And all we're giving up is a natural 2 no trump response to a double, which isn't very frequent. If you do have a natural 2 no trump response to a double, you just have to pick a suit to play in, or otherwise 3 no trumps, they're your choices. Okay, so that covers Levensoul. There's lots more options in Levensoul, but I'm just touching on it and describing the options a bit. Sometimes the option goes like this. Okay, 1 heart, you pass because you've just got some rubbish hand. It goes 2 hearts, and now your partner makes a takeout double. And now you might think, oh, okay, this is very similar to the weak 2 in hearts. We could play Levensoul here. You can play Levensoul here. It's another possibility. It's not a very common place to play it, but there's nothing wrong with it. But what I prefer to play is what's called scrambling 2 no trumps, or 2 places to play. So here, if partner's made a takeout double, I've got 4-4 in the minors, and I want to play in our fit. Now, while partner might have something like a 4-1-4-4, where it doesn't matter which one I choose, every now and then he'll only have a 1 4-card minor and a 3-card minor, or sometimes he might have 5 cards in one minor and 3 in the other. And here you really want to be able to choose which minor you have. But you don't know which minor partner has. So what scrambling 2 no trumps is pretty much similar to Levensoul. We're giving up the natural 2 no trump bid because that's very rare, and even more rare in this situation when they've opened 1 heart and then raised. It's nearly impossible to want to play in 2 no trumps because we just won't have the points to make it. So if you bid 2 no trumps here, what it says is I've got 2 places to play. Now how you can tell this is different from Levensoul is Levensoul should occur when you've had no opportunity to describe your hand before. So here it's got, in the Levensoul it went 2 hearts, double, pass, and it was my bid. In scrambling 2 no trumps, I've already passed over 1 heart, so I had a chance to do something if I really wanted to, so I won't have a drastically strong hand or anything like that. So you don't really need the room to try and describe how strong you are. it's usually better to say, try and use it to find out where you have a fit. So scrambling two-no trump says, partner, I have 2 places to play. Can you tell me where you've got a fit? Where you've got a 4-card suit. And now partner will respond by just bidding their cheapest 4-card suit. Okay, and now we've found out partner's got a clubs fit. So, okay, we didn't need to pick 3 clubs. And we're glad we didn't pick 3 diamonds because we might not have had a fit there. Okay, so I'll just bring up the whole hand. Now notice that partner only had 3 diamonds, so if we'd chosen to play in diamonds, we wouldn't be playing in our fit and it'd be really tough to play the hand. Whereas by using scrambling two-no trumps, we got partner's opinion on where our trump fit is. Now you can use scrambling two-no trumps for lots of different options, but it's quite useful just to use it to try and find out where your fit is. And you can use it to say, partner, I have 2 spots to play, just you bid the lowest spot that you're willing to play in. If partner didn't have clubs, but instead had diamonds, they would have responded 3 diamonds to say, I've got a 4-card diamond suit. So that's scrambling two-no trumps. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to discuss is what to do when the opponents overcall one no trump. Okay, so when the opponents overcall one no trump, what you should be doing is, with any strong hand, you want to double them for penalties to say, I don't think you're going to make it. So what this frees up is if you bid a new suit at the 2 level, that should now be a non-forcing bid. Because if you are happy to force in a suit, such as you had 10 plus points, do you really think they're going to make one no trump? Nah, they're not going to make it. So if they're not going to make one no trump, you can start with a double to try and penalize them. Now, what this allows is if you bid any new suit at the 2 level, that should just be like, I have a weak hand with either 6 or 7. Something like a weak 2, maybe a 7-card suit. So on this hand, and it can be a bit lighter than your usual weak 2s. If you had 9 points, you'd probably just double the opponents. So it's sort of like maybe like 3 to 7 points, maybe 8 points. So here I can just bid 2 hearts to say, partner, I don't want to defend one no trump. I don't want you to bid anymore. I just got a lot of hearts. Does that work for you? Okay. So here's the whole hand. Sorry I didn't bring it up earlier. But yeah, so here I can bid 2 hearts to say, yeah, I've just got a heart suit. What do you want to do about it? Some other options you have is if it goes, so again, the same option. Most people just play bidding a suit as natural, non-forcing, what do you want to do, partner? So they'd bid 2 hearts. Another alternative, which is growing in popularity, is you play the same defense to a no trump as you do if they open one no trump as you do if they overcall one no trump. So you might play Capelletti, or you might play Landy, or you might play multi-Landy, or don't, or something like that. You might not even play a convention. If you don't play a convention, you just want to have this to be natural non-forcing bids. If you do play a convention, you can consider playing that same convention in this sort of spot. There's lots of different conventions to play over one no trump, and they've all got some merit. But here, you can consider playing your same defense to a no trump if they overcall, but it's something you should want to discuss, and you'd only do this in sort of serious partnerships that you play regularly with. It's not something that you want to spring on someone or anything like that. Okay, so that was my lesson on coping with interference. So we covered if they overcall at the 1 level, if they make other overcalls, what do we do if they double, what if they use a Michael's Q bid or an unusual 2 no trumps, defending against weak 2s. I mentioned scrambling 2 no trumps, and what we can do if they overcall 1 no trump. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and thanks for watching.